Are your students struggling to produce a persuasive piece? Have you got them reading and writing every day, but they still can't convince you that rain is wet? Well, luckily, we've developed a lesson centered around modality and compositional visual literacy techniques that will have your students arguing like lawyers in no time. Underpinned by the coveted New London Group's social cultural perspective theory of multiliteracies, we understand the importance of multimodality when teaching literacy in this ever-evolving world. With this in mind, we've developed a multimodal, engaging, and dare we say it, fun lesson incorporating both visual and critical literacy techniques that will have your students producing persuasive pieces that are worthy of the time you put in teaching. So put down your tired copy of Where the Wild Things Are. Been there, read that. Based on Freebody and Luke's 4 resources model, our writing lesson will focus on the text participant and text user, with students viewing a text that is unanimously and unequivocally adored: Harry Potter. With all the examples of high modality vernacular you could wish for, The Boy Who Lived and his mates will have your students preparing, writing, and speaking in the persuasive prose of your fantasies.
We have to see Professor Dumbledore immediately.
In addition to these critical literacy skills, compositional visual literacy techniques outlined by Crescent Van Leeuwen are on display. Let your children see the power of angle, distance, and perspective as you introduce them to this new compositional meta-language as different characters showcase their persuasive skills. Using our Harry Potter clips as your codebreaker, your students will participate with the language and visuals firsthand, exposed to the techniques that will produce a convincing, compelling, and coherent argument. But why was this clip so convincing? What do they have to compare it to? Today, we will provide you with not one, but 2 Harry Potter clips. One with high modality language and another with low. Don't tell your students what makes a compelling argument, show them. Allow your students to become the text users, compare the 2 clips, and equipping themselves with the tools to develop an incredible persuasive piece. From here, have a class discussion. Let your children lead the way. They learn best when they work together. Just ask Vygotsky. You're just a guide on the side. Now prompt them with some inferential questions as you gradually relinquish responsibility. Which clip was more convincing? What made you think that? Having heard what will no doubt be insightful student answers, after all, you're a good teacher. You can model a coherent argument on the whiteboard, argue for whatever you like, daylight saving should be abolished, or lockdown should have ended. But explicitly model the high modality vocabulary you want to see. Pro tip, this argument could be developed way before the lesson. Prepare it at the start of your unit and map your way backwards. Easy.
Now that your students are scaffolded, let them form their own groups to create their very own multimodal piece. And there you have it, your students are now text users once again. Will they create a written piece, an audio piece, or will they create a video of their own? Who's a savvy scriptwriter and who's a creative director? These are questions you'll be asking your students. You can scaffold your students with a few ideas to help them create their piece. For example, should the amount of time at lunch be extended? Should their maths test tomorrow be scrapped? Or why you're the best teacher? And you can create your own formative assessment on that one. But it's important to remember to allow students to create their own idea, something that's relatable to them in their own lives. Allowing this freedom for your students to connect to their real world by its very nature includes your Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students, which allows them to create a persuasive text relating to their worldview. It's also important to acknowledge your students' connection to country by allowing them to work outside. Including your other culturally diverse students is a breeze. Provide them with a word bank of high modality words broken into their phonic sounds. Allow them to work with students who share the same language and combine your oral and written instruction. Additionally, both your Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander and English as additional language students will benefit from working in small groups where they can express themselves freely. Now remember, when differentiating, your students are the experts. Ask them what they need. Assessment for your students is very simple. Your students have been given a variety of ways to complete their multimodal piece. We've also included a rubric for you to help assess your students. Make sure that you're very specific. Are they using those high modality words that you modeled? Also, if they're filming, Are they using those visual literacy techniques? This lesson has been tested time and time again, and it guarantees that the most disengaged student will fall in love with literacy once again.
And now for the nitty gritty. Our lessons normally retail at $150 a pop, but today only you can get this lesson and all of its related resources for just $99.95. And what's more, if your kids aren't arguing like Hermione Granger, you can take advantage of our money back guarantee minus shipping. So what have you got to lose? Invest in your students' education and your sanity today.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.